a whole back catalogue of famous movies, and yet Strait-Jacket is the first Joan Crawford movie I've ever watched. And it's a movie that feels, at least to me, like a Hitchcock movie. And I'm thinking that just as I'm watching it. Just didn't look it up, didn't Google anything, just watching the flick. And then I find out it's written by Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho and Psycho 2 and things like that. You watch this movie and you think, wow, I've seen this before. I know exactly where it's going. And yep. That's one of those kinds of movies. Yeah, it is. If it is going to be one of those kinds of movies, it needs things to kind of like, I don't know, spruce it up. Make it stand out. Joan Crawford is a good start. Turns out she can act. Surprise, surprise. I'd watch another movie with Joan Crawford in it. Maybe I'd choose one of her classics next. I don't know. But she's absolutely fantastic in this movie. And it's one of those instances of like, why is this person in this movie? They're way too good for it. That's pretty much how I feel about her in this. George Kennedy is also in this. Before he was a big star, or maybe he was just a character actor at the time. I don't know. So it is directed by William Castle. I've done a William Castle movie before, way back, called Mr. Sardonicus. I thought it was alright. And I thought this movie was alright too. I guess you've got a guy who likes Hitchcock and Hitchcockian things, and he just can't do movies as good as Hitchcock. Because I can't help but feel, as I'm watching Strait-Jacket, that, holy shit, if Alfred had directed this movie would be awesome. So what is it about? Alright, well, Joan Crawford, she comes home after going out or doing something, working, I don't know. She's coming home, and her husband is having an affair, and he's asleep with the other person. So she, of course, walks in and with an axe and chops their heads off, as you do. And her young daughter sees her doing this. So the movie then cuts 20 years into the future, and hey, Joan Crawford's been released because she's off alright now. She won't axe anyone, I promise. And then the movie is pretty much just like, is she okay? Is she alright? She should calm down. Is she okay? And then axe murders happen. And you just know the whole time, old movie, I'm going to spoil it anyway, you just know the whole time it's the daughter this time, because zoomed in on her eyes and she's like, whoa, it's seared into her brain, all this kind of stuff. It felt like a bit of a giallo movie in this respect. Like, it was the woman was and wearing a creepy mask and a wig and all this kind of thing. Very psycho, I guess, as well. So yes, I always knew it was going to be her. The way they kind of did the reveal was fine. It was interesting, at least. You got the daughter wearing a Joan Crawford mask and wig, and how she did it was actually made sense. It was fine. The thing is, though, apart from the start where Lee Majors and his, mistress get axe murdered. It is Lee Majors, by the way. They don't rebuild him. So they die, and that's fine. But the problem is, it takes over 40 minutes for anything else to happen. This is supposed to be a thriller. I am completely unthrilled. It's 45 minutes. Good. There's an axe murder. Good. There's another one. Thank you. There's only like 4 of them. All right. This makes me sound a bit more bloodthirsty than I mean to, but holy crap. Anyway, there's also this one scene in this movie. I'm just like, what are you doing? That came out of nowhere, but my brain just was like, what? All right. So Joan Crawford's just trying to pick up the pieces, get back into a relationship with her brother, her sister-in-law, and her daughter, when the fucking doctor from the psychiatric place decides just to drop in on his way home from a holiday. I'm like, who does that? What? Who does that? No, mind your business and fuck off. I was just like, wow, controlling much? Get out of here. I didn't like that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I was just like, Then his head gets chopped off, and I was like, yay! But yes, it takes a while for things to get going, which is a problem if you know where the movie's going. And I feel like even if you're watching this in the mid-60s, you still might be able to predict where it's going, because Psycho's already out. It's written by Robert Bloch, so he'd go on to write movies that are just like this in the future. More people have probably seen Psycho 2 than Strait-Jacket, so, you know, that kind of thing of, I used to be crazy and now I'm free, and then someone's doing murders. But it's not me, it's the, Yeah, you've seen this before, it's done better in other places, so why'd I review it? I don't know. I wanted to see a Joan Crawford movie. And I like 60s thrillers. And this poster is awesome. You're going to see real axe murders. And in the 60s, I would have been like, whoa, what the fuck? Alright, I want to see some axe murders, let's go. Hey, life is short, watch a fucked up movie. And instead it was just kind of... But there are flourishes of really cool things. Like, I wish they used the bangle sound effects to more effect. I actually wish, like, this, like, William Castle would use, like, really interesting ways of doing things for, like, at the start, and over here, and over there. And then for none of the movie, the rest is just, like, people talking, come on, man. And the music, like, I'm like, come on, man, you're working with Robert Bloch, you've probably seen Psycho, so where is the suspense music? It's just kind of like, it's the kind of music you'd imagine you'd have in a movie that came out in the 40s, 50s, or 60s. That kind of like music, the overblown, overdone kind of soundtrack. And they all sound the same in my ears. I'm sorry, a lot of them do. So yeah, I was expecting something a bit more, I don't know. Instead it was alright. It was fine. It was 90 minutes. Then I was kind of bored. Mostly because I knew where I was going. And the only performance that was like, holy shit, was Joan Crawford. And she couldn't save it. That's a 5. I don't know. What's a good one of her movies? Where do I go? I might do it next or in like fucking 10 years. Or never. Oh well. That's it. I'm done.